Hello, good evening. It's Chuck W30 and operating as W30C Net Control for the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club Net. This radio net meets every Monday at 8 p.m. on the Two Rivers ARC Club repeater system, operating on 147.12 megahertz. Membership in the Two Rivers ARC is not required to check into the net, as all radio amateurs are welcome. If you'd like information about the Two Rivers ARC, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Green Arc, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at https://trarc.org, trarc.org, and we're also on Facebook. Radio club meetings are held on the third Tuesday of every month, except in December, starting at 7 p.m. at the Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue, Elizabeth, PA. 11 is net for check-ins with emergency or priority traffic at this. Okay, none heard. All right, does anyone have listings of Silent Keys in a radio amateur that recently passed away? I know I haven't heard anything lately. Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to take some check-ins here in a moment. This information is basically information that provides information about amateur radio activities in the area and to some extent worldwide. Plus, we have AR Newsline recorded transmission from the AR Newsline website, which we will play toward the end. Okay, this time I'm going to take some check-ins. First, I want to start off with anybody on Echolink. Anybody on Echolink, we're going to take an extra standby for you to check in. It's W30C.
W30C. Please welcome Alpha, Alpha 3, Mike Romeo, AA3MR, Echolink, Walt, here at Clarton Works. Good evening to you, Chuck, and everybody on the net.
We got Alpha, Alpha 3, Mike Radio on Echolink. Anybody else on Echolink?
W30C, please welcome Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray, Jeff and Irwin. Good evening, everyone. No messages, no traffic.
Okay, we got Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-Ray on Echolink. Anybody else Echolink?
Kilo Delta 3 Bravo Juliet Tango. This is Corey, and my first time saying that call sign over the air, well, over the internet, because my handheld hasn't come yet.
Okay, got Kilo Delta 3 Bravo Alpha Alpha on Echolink. Anybody else on Echolink? All right, we'll take a stop there. All right, we're going to take some more check-ins here. This time I'm looking for any members of the board of directors wish to check in. W30C. W30C, please recognize Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, Bob, Elizabeth Township. Good evening, Chuck. Evening to the net, no traffic. We got Hotel Bravo. Wonderful around here. Also, let's go. I got the board of directors. I got Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango and very scratchy November 3 Juliet Hotel Bravo. And JHB, you said something about there's somebody else with you. Who was that? Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. Okay, Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. All right, thank you. Anybody else from the board of directors? Net control.
Net control, recognize Kilo 3, Charlie, Romeo, Oscar, John and Baldwin. No comments, no traffic, other than good job, Corey, you got it through.
Kilo 3, Charlie, Radio, Oscar. Thank you, guys. Anybody else? All right, let's continue on here, and I'm looking for a station to operate mobile, portable, outside of Allegheny County.
OC. Here's Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra Papa, Dan, Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to all on the net, and good to have an eyeball QSO with you there on Sunday, Chuck. W3OC. This is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sierra Papa, Jim Mobile in Scott Township tonight. It was good to see everybody at the Hamfest.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Alpha 3, Alpha Charlie, Junior, Portable here in Pittsburgh. Good evening to Chuck and those on the deck tonight. I have no traffic.
Okay, that time I got Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra Papa, Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sugar Papa, Mobile, and the Alpha 3, Alpha Charlie. Thank you, guys. Anybody else, mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County? Okay, let's open up with for general check-ins. Anyone else like to check in, call now.
W3OC, Whiskey Alpha 3, India Oscar uniform. It's nice to meet all the people I met at the Hamfest.
W3OC, this is November 3, Juliet Papa, Quebec. Kurt in North Versailles, good evening to Net. Went to the Hamfest and didn't see anybody. No, I met Jim out there.
W3OC, there is Kilo 3 Hotel, India, Romeo. And I didn't go because the roads were all closed in Monroeville the night before, so I thought they might still be flooded up. So anyhow, it's K3HIR Merle in Elizabeth Township.
3OC, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3, Victor Yankee Mike, west from Jefferson Hills. No comments.
Okay, I got Kilo 3 Hotel on your radio, Kilo Charlie 3, Victor Yankee, Mexico. Anybody else? Things are kind of quieted off a little bit. Thank you all for taking the time to check on us. It was good to see many of you folks out there at the Brew Shooters Hamfest yesterday. I bumped into quite a few of them, quite a few people. But of course, I know I missed people too, that's for sure. Nice to see folks out there, those that stopped by the radio club table and talk with our people. That was a good thing too. Hope you all had a good time with that. My congratulations to the Brew Shooters. They did, I thought, an outstanding job on their Hamfest. Unfortunately, the rain did put a kibosh to the flea market, I guess, sometime, I guess, mid-morning. And I didn't go out in the flea market too much. I was inside the buildings, and I was told people were backing up because of the rain was heavy, I guess, at times. But yeah, it was unfortunate. Rain got in the way of the Hamfest, and that's always one of the things that happen with Hamfest. You always weather can put a real kink in some of those kind of things. They had a good crowd there from what I could see. I don't know what they had. I know the inside buildings were full of all kinds of people there. I guess many people were getting out of the rain and coming inside, which was a good thing too. They had a nice affair. I don't have the list of prize winners here. I heard it. I was there for the prize winnings or prize announcings, but I didn't take a list of anything like that. I'm sure there would be a listing come out sometime soon. At least that's normally what they do. So it was a nice affair, I thought, all the way around. Could it always be better? Sure. AmFest can always be improved, that's for sure. But my congratulations to the free shooters. They worked very, very hard on that, and their prizes were top-notch as far as I was concerned. There were people taking VE tests. I did hear from one of the VEs that they had a bunch of people taking tests. I heard there's at least a half a dozen or more. So that, I guess that went along pretty well too. I didn't participate in that, but like I said, overall I thought it was pretty good. And like everything else you get up in Butler County up there, you get near the AmFest ground, there's always road construction. That causes difficulty. I know in the group I was with, we missed the entrance the first time, went a half a block too far. So, and that was because of poor signs, I think. But, you know, it was a nice affair, and considered all in all. Those of you who made it, good. If you didn't, well, what can I tell you? There are other AmFests coming up here in the area. We'll get to that here briefly. All right, that's my report generally on the Free Shooters AmFest. Let's see. As far as Two Rivers activities, we have all kinds of activities we do during the course of the month. We have a total of 4 radio nets. Actually, 4 right now. The Wednesday night net meets at 8:30 p.m. on this repeater system. It's normally hosted by Steve, W3 Whiskey Sierra Hotel Fox. It's an impromptu net. It's sort of organized, but it's a very social organization, so you're welcome to join us for that. Thursday night, we have a net on the 10-meter band on 28460. It starts at 8 p.m. And we have various hosts on that, depending on who's available. And it kind of works the same way as the Wednesday night net does. So Friday nights are supposed to be one on 40 meters. I can't say I ever heard it lately. It's supposed to be at 6 o'clock in the evening, but not sure what's going on with that. And I guess we'll get an update on that, but probably the next radio club meeting when that's coming up here in about a week or so. Okay. Let's see. This W3OC. All right, let's see what else we got. We have amateur radio exam sessions 4 times a year, plus at the AmFest, and occasionally at our Two Rivers AmFest held in the springtime. We also have special exam sessions. We just had one on the 29th for folks, anybody who wanted to take a test or were members of the recent technician radio class that ran in March and April. So the next exam session is coming up tomorrow night, believe it or not, at 6:30 p.m. at the McKeesport High School. It's on Eden Park Boulevard, McKeesport, Pennsylvania. They do accept walk-ins. The coordinator does, Mike Kilo Victor 3 Ham, it does like to have a kind of a feel for how many people are going to be there. I know I heard a report here, I think it was yesterday, that they do have a couple of people that scheduled to take tests with them here tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. at McKeesport High School. If you want to contact Mike, you can. Best thing to do, you can call him by phone, 412-751-9657, 412-751-9657. It's a little late to do email, I think. He's got a long email address, which I don't remember it offhand. But that's exam sessions coming up. Also on the third Thursday of each month, we have a thing called Operations Night, where the club members and anybody else wants to join us, we get on the air and operate on HF, where we discuss various technical things with the people attending. It's at 7 p.m. at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department. Well, it's 4312 Liberty Way. In the address is Elizabeth, PA. It's actually Elizabethboro, so that's on the outskirts of Elizabeth, PA. So that's coming up. That will be coming up, I think, next week. Then we also have the Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club Hams and Eggs Breakfast. That's on the second Saturday of every month at a local restaurant. We're at 9:30 a.m. We're currently meeting at the Rock Run Inn. That's located on Rock Run Boulevard in Elizabeth, PA again. It's at the Butler's Golf Course, if you're familiar with that area. You're welcome to join us for that. That usually runs an hour or so, and it's have some breakfast and do a lot of yakking amongst the folks who are attending. So that's a nice affair too. Radio Club does have a Ham Fest, as I mentioned earlier, in the early spring. This year's was at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department up there on Liberty Way. We do participate in radio contests. We do the Winter Field Day normally. That's in January. The last couple of years, we've been doing it at Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department up at their social hall, which I've been keeps talking about. We do participate in the ARL National Field Day event, and that's coming up here at the end of this month. The 28th and 29th, Two Rivers is going to be meeting at it's going to be conducting our site. Will be at the Carpenter's White Oak Park Carpenter's Lane site, what we also call the Water Tower site. It's located on Carpenter's Lane near White Oak, PA. That's in the suburbs of McKeesport. And also coming up here on the 14th, we're having something new this time. We're having a fox hunt. That's a hidden transmitter hunt. I think it starts at noontime, runs for an hour or two, I believe, at a local park. They're using the Round Hill Park, which is located, it's right outside the city of McKeesport, right off of Route 48. The idea is to meet there about noontime. There's been a flyer and stuff sent out. Let's see, do I have it here in front of me? Probably do somewhere. But you're welcome to come out there and join us for that. Okay, I don't think I've missed any radio club activity. So we're pretty active when it comes to this kind of stuff. And hopefully, you're invited to attend that too. Okay, looking at the calendar of events that I have published, I have written here. I have on the 10th. That's tomorrow night. The amateur radio exam session, 6:30 p.m. McKeesport Area High School, East Park Boulevard, McKeesport, Pennsylvania. 14th is the fox hunt, 2 p.m. at the. It starts at noontime. It says 2 p.m. here, but I think it's 12 o'clock at the Round Hill Park, Elizabeth, PA. On the 21st and 22nd is an ARES communications event. The Westmoreland County Westmoreland County Air Show is coming up at the Arnold Palmer Airport in Latrobe. They're looking for amateur radio operators to help with that. Communications on the 28th and 29th is the ARL Field Day. Two Rivers will be at the Water Tower site in White Oak Park, right over Carpenter's Lane. Other radio clubs are going to be participating also, and so will individuals. A lot of information is on the internet on the ARL's website as far as the rules and all that kind of good stuff. If you wish to come out and visit us or any of the clubs, there's a listing up on the ARL's website, arl.org, where you can find a listing of the ones that have announced where they're going to be operating from. I know one of the groups is going to be in South Park. I know that for a fact because I talked to them at yesterday's Ham Fest. Okay, looking a little bit further down the list in July, the next Ham Fest here in the area is the Somerset County Amateur Radio Club Ham Fest. It's the Somerset County Tech Center, 251 Technology Drive in Somerset, PA. You're welcome to come out there for that. August 9th, the Uniontown Amateur Radio Club has their Gap Fest. That's a Ham Fest at their club grounds on Old Pittsburgh Road in Uniontown, PA. The 24th of August is the Skyview Radio Society Swap and Shop. That's at their club grounds on Turkey Ridge Road in New Kensington, PA. September 7th, the Butler County ARC Swap Fest is going to be held at the Unionville Volunteer Fire Department, 102 Mahood Road in Butler, PA. Okay, I think that's pretty much all there is as far as Ham Fests are concerned. So hopefully many of you folks can make it out there for that, for any of these kind of things. Let's see here. As far as other things that's going on, the North Hills Amateur Radio Club is still holding their annual raffle. They're selling raffle tickets. I think there's 250 tickets available at $10 each. And the winner gets a Kenwood THD 75A handheld transceiver and a diamond antenna, and a Kenwood rapid charger. That's a pretty nice bundle. If you wish to purchase tickets to that, you can usually find these folks at things like Campfest. I know they were at Breeze Shooters yesterday. Or you can do an email to them or attend any of their club events. Their mailing address is Northwoods Amateur Radio Club, P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh 15237. P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh, PA, 15237. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's anything I've missed. I don't see, so I'm looking through the flyers and stuff. No. There's always stuff going on here in the area. The various clubs have all kinds of activities, and if you're interested in joining a radio club, there's many clubs in the area, and they all have various things that they do, and some more so than others, but you're welcome to always kind of join those kind of things. The ARL, by the way, keeps a good list of radio clubs that are affiliated with them up on their website up there at ARL.org. You have to do a little search to find it, but I know I've seen listing up there. They give it locations and times of meetings and things like that. Okay. Let's see what else. I don't think I have anything else. I'm going to take a standby. Does anybody need to repeat for anything they've heard? This W3OC. Okay, I guess I must be doing something right. Like I said, I wish I had the listing of the names of those who won the main prizes at Breeze Shooters, but I don't have that. And hopefully maybe we'll get that tonight on the Breeze Shooters net. By the way, if you're not concerned, Breeze Shooters does have a net that meets at 9 p.m. on Monday nights on frequency 28480, and a lot of times this kind of information is released up there before it goes out publicly. So you might want to try that. It's on sideband, of course. Okay. All right. Well, let me switch over here and let's see what Newsline's got tonight. This is W3OC.
Number 2484, with a release date of Friday, June 6th, 2025, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We begin this week with a developing story. As Newsline went to production, the FCC prepared for the departure of 2 commissioners. Commissioner Nathan Symington announced on Wednesday, June 4th, that he was leaving the post he has held since 2020, following his appointment by President Donald Trump. His announcement follows an earlier one from Commissioner Jeffrey Starks, a Democrat, that he would leave the FCC. Both departures were scheduled to happen by June 6th, meaning that with one other seat already left vacant, the President and the U.S. Senate must now fill 3 spots. Until then, the FCC will have temporarily 1 Republican and 1 Democratic commissioner each. Neither man's statement gave reasons for the departure. The following is a QST. A major antenna maker discontinues its production for ham radio. NOAA's weather radio stations go off the air for upgrades, and a new leadership for the popular 13 Colonies special event in the U.S. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2484 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
The popular amateur radio antennas manufactured by Stepper are being discontinued. The company announced that it is halting their production this summer. Jim Dameron, N8TMW, has the details.
Stepper has announced that it is stopping production of all amateur radio and other consumer antennas starting in August. The company's statement, which appears on its website, said it would continue to honor all product warranties and provide technical support as needed. The company said, quote, "Given our long history of impact and innovation, we don't take this decision lightly, but have decided that it is necessary for our ongoing operations and to make sure we can continue to efficiently provide our existing customers with product support services," end quote. All antenna and spare parts orders will be fulfilled by the company through the end of August. After the 31st of the month, Stepper will sell spare parts as long as the inventory permits. Based in Washington State, the company has been well known in the amateur radio community since 2001. Stepper produces a variety of mechanically adjusted, remotely tuned, frequency-optimized HF, VHF, Yagi, vertical, and dipole antenna systems which serve military, commercial, emergency communications, and consumer markets. This is Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is in the process of temporarily taking its radio stations off the air for scheduled updates. And Randy Fly, W4XJ, tells us what to expect. As some parts of the United States enter hurricane season, which officially began on June 1st, the National Weather Service is continuing with its nationwide update of their Advanced Weather Interactive Processing System. This system is used for weather data processing and communications, two functions that are especially critical during storms and other weather-related emergencies. The upgrades will be taking more than 1,000 radio stations of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration off the air on a rolling basis for 2 to 3 days in a scheduled rollout for their 122 weather forecast offices. Broadcasters and ham radio groups have expressed concern about not having access to these emergency stations during those periods. NOAA Weather Radio, known as the Voice of the National Weather Service, is a nationwide network of radio stations broadcasting continuous weather information directly from the nearest weather forecast office. These stations broadcast official weather service warnings, watches, forecasts, and other hazard information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The NWS is using social media and other means to inform citizens in the affected areas when their stations will be out of service. They are also encouraging citizens to rely on alternate sources for weather warnings during the outage, including local TV and radio, weather apps, and NWS websites. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ. The Sable Island de-expedition team is heading back there next year, and they'll have company. John Williams, VK4JJW, has that report.
The CY0S team of de-expeditioners will be returning to Sable Island in 2026. The operators announced in a press release that Parks Canada, Sable Island, has invited them to return next March and has approved their plans for a 10 to 12-day de-expedition. As they set up to operate on this remote island in Atlantic Canada, they'll have some welcome company. Operators from the CY9C de-expedition team who had activated St. Paul Island in 2024. The CY9C operators knew that year that their successful activation on St. Paul was likely to be the last for a long time on that challenging, environmentally sensitive landscape. Like Sable Island, St. Paul Island is considered one of the more difficult de-expedition destinations in North America. Windswept Sable Island is perhaps best known for its population of wild horses. Team leaders for Sable Island will be Murray, WA4DAN, and Glenn, W0GJ. A website has already been set up at cy0s.com by webmaster Chaz, W4GKF. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
A Citizens Band operator is facing a fine after the FCC charged him with a series of operating violations. We hear more from Kevin Trotman, N5, PRE.
An Illinois man faces a $25,000 penalty from the FCC for unauthorized operation of a Citizen Band radio. The agency announced its decision on May 30th, 2025, 2 years to the day after it issued a notice of apparent liability against Jamie John Leon. The agency's Enforcement Bureau said that he repeatedly voided his operating authority by sending nonverbal, indecipherable sound effects over long periods. causing malicious interference and engaging in one-way transmissions. According to the FCC document, Leon did not file a response to the 2023 Notice of Liability. Citizen Band Radio is not a licensed service in the United States. Operators retain the privilege of using CB by agreeing to comply to the relevant regulations stipulated in the Communications Act of 1934. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE. Meanwhile, the Australian Communications and Media Authority has proposed that reported abuses of Citizens Band regulations that are deemed serious should be referred to the police for further investigations. Citizens Band operators are covered by a class license in Australia under the Radio Communications Act. The current regulations are set to sunset on the 1st of October. Public comment is being accepted through the 15th of July. NASA will no longer operate its Spot the Station website for fans of the International Space Station. CellMB KB3TZD explains.
If you like to keep tabs on the International Space Station, and you've been doing so via NASA's Spot the Station website, you will need to change your space station viewing strategy starting the 12th of June. NASA will be discontinuing the website as of that date, and will no longer display opportunities for sightings on their site. Subscribed users who have been receiving text and email notifications linking them to the website will no longer have this option either. The announcement on the website now directs ISS watchers to instead download NASA's official Spot the Station mobile app onto their Apple or Android smartphones. The Spot the Station app expands notification of viewing opportunities in the United States and across the globe, as well as providing additional capabilities to improve user experiences. This is CellMB KB3TZD.
Throughout the month of June, hams are celebrating an important hiking trail in New Brunswick, Canada. Travis Lisk, N3ILS, has those details.
There's a lot of history stretching along the distance of nearly 60 kilometers, or 36 miles, that define Canada's Dobson Trail, a preeminent hiking trail in New Brunswick. The nation's longest trail to be maintained by volunteers, it is amply populated with a number of sites in the worldwide Flora and Fauna program. The trail is the first part of the Fundy Footpath in Atlantic Canada. Named for the outdoorsman Art Dobson, who led the volunteers as they carved out and built the trail by hand, it marks its 65th anniversary this year. Throughout June, special event station VC9DT will be on the air celebrating by calling CQ. The Atlantic Coast DX and Contest Group, VE9ACC, and the Canadian chapter of Worldwide Flora and Fauna will be activating the special call sign on different locations along the trail and on various bands using single sideband and FT8, FT4. Details and more about the trail's history can be found on the QRZ.com page for VC9DT. This is Travis Lisk, N3ILS.
It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the N9I AA repeater system from southern Michigan through northern Indiana to the south side of Chicago on 146.685 on Thursday evenings at 8:30 p.m. Central. Be listening on June 19th for a special FM radio broadcast celebrating Edwin Armstrong's development of FM radio. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us about the special programming that's planned.
The call sign W2XMN is etched in cement atop the doorway of a small brick transmitter building in New Jersey, not far from the radio tower where history's first FM broadcast began in 1938. Those steady transmissions became a reality only 3 years after engineer and inventor Edwin Armstrong had given a public demonstration at an engineering conference showing that frequency modulation radio could deliver static-free sound graced with a remarkable fidelity that was previously unheard of. FM broadcasting will return temporarily to W2XMN's original VHF low-band frequency, 42.8 megahertz, beginning at noon on Thursday, the 19th of June. The northern New Jersey tower, once used by W2XMN, will broadcast a repeat of programming first aired in 2005 to commemorate Armstrong's successful FM demonstration in 1935. The content includes interviews with Armstrong's niece, Jean Hammond, and with Tom Lewis, the author of the book Empire of the Air, Men Who Made Radio. According to a report on the RadioWorld.com website, a restored Phasetron transmitter will be running 250 watts of power into a vertical antenna. The structure known as the Alpine Tower is still used today. Radio station WFDU, the public radio station licensed to Fairleigh Dickinson University in New Jersey, is on the air at 89.1 FM, of course. This is Kent Peterson, KC0 DGY.
One of the season's most popular HF operating events here in the U.S. is honoring its founder as he steps away from 16 years at the helm. Mark Abramovich, NT3V, has the details.
If you haven't heard of the 13 Colonies special event or heard stations calling in the annual activity between July 1st and July 8th, you have missed a unique opportunity to celebrate the history of the U.S. and mark the American Revolution. Ken Vallone, KU2US, who conceived the idea of activating stations in the 13 original colonies, is going into semi-retirement. Vallone is passing on the responsibility for event coordination to Tony James, N4ATJ of McAdenville, North Carolina, a longtime 13 Colonies coordinator for his home state's K2J station. Vallone will remain involved as the New York State coordinator for K2A. Bob Jajuai, WA3PZO, who joined Vallone more than a dozen years ago in his passion to promote American history via an amateur radio special event, is helping to ensure a smooth transition. Jajuai is coordinator for WM3PEN, a bonus station that recognizes Philadelphia's role as the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence. Jajuai said that in its first year, the event recorded some 12,000 QSOs. That grew to a breathtaking 292,426 contacts in 2024. It also attracted operators who now run bonus stations in Great Britain, GB13COL, and France, TM13COL, recognizing the role the two countries played in America's war for independence. This year's 13 Colony certificate will recognize the work Vallone has done to make the event so popular. Vallone, however, shared a different perspective on why the event is such a success. In an email sent recently to all hands involved, he wrote, quote, "I just only started this event, and I tried to keep it going, but it was you folks who also, through your participation and dedication, managing your states and special bonus stations, Philadelphia, England, and France, that made this whole thing work," end quote. To find out more about the 13 Colonies special event, go to the text version of this story at arnewsline.org and click on the link there. This is Mark Abramovich, NT3V.
It has been a productive year so far for amateur radio operators in New Hampshire. A memorandum of understanding between the state and New Hampshire ARES has designated emergency operators as the sole providers of ham radio communication support to the state's Department of Safety, Division of Emergency Services and Communication. Ham radio's important roles in the community has since been underscored by a recent proclamation from the governor's office declaring June as Amateur Radio Month in New Hampshire. New Hampshire joins Hawaii in this formal gesture of appreciation for the hams in their state. In the world of DX, email DL8JJ will be using the call sign EA5/DL8JJ from Peñeta de Moro, IOTA number EU-151, between the 7th and the 9th of June. Listen for him on 40 through 10 meters, where he will be using CW and single sideband, QSL via M0OXO's OQRS. Listen for Bo, OZ1DJJ, using the call sign OX3LX from Greenland, IOTA number NA018, where he will operate holiday style from 2 locations. He will be at Grid Square GP47PA from the 5th through to the 9th of June, and at Grid Square GP44DE from the 10th through to the 22nd. See QRZ.com for other details. Special call sign PA2025 NATO is on the air through June to mark the NATO summit being hosted by the Netherlands for the first time on the weekend of June 24th. QSL details and other information is on QRZ.com. Domenico, IK1MNF, is using the call sign IK1NMF/IA5 from Isola di Elba, IOTA number EU-028, from early June until the end of September. This for Domenico on 20 through 6 meters, where he will be using single sideband most of the time. See QRZ.com for QSL details. A recent joint de-expedition to Kosovo was much anticipated after a series of postponements and delays. What was not anticipated, however, were some of the contacts the two operators had towards the activation's end. Jim Meechan, ZL2 BHF, wraps up this week's newscast by giving us those details.
Anne, OH2YL, and Marco, OH2LG, were finally ready for that long-awaited 10 days of intense operating deep in the Balkans as Z68YL and Z68OM, respectively. The contacts came in exhilarating waves as the pair operated from May 20th through to the 30th. Then, just days before the big finish, the two operators were confronted with a pile-up like no other. Cows, a herd of at least 50 of them, rampaging through the antennas and messing with the guy wires. A blog post written by Jari OH6BG said that, quote, the guy wires were given the ride of their life, end quote. As for the feed lines, well, the cow's teeth took the word feed line quite literally. The feed lines for the end-fed half-wave wire antenna and the 6-meter dipole were both chewed through. With some repair work and a new vertical antenna, the operators were soon back in business. By the time they went QRT, despite high winds, QRM, and bovine intervention, they managed to work their way to a total of just fewer than 10,000 QSOs. Resilient, determined, and resourceful, they would not be cowed in Kosovo. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
A good QSO can be like poetry, sometimes. So why not write a haiku about amateur radio and join the Newsline Haiku Challenge? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. We can only accept the correct haiku format, that is, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on the website at arnewsline.org, and each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Amateur News Daily, AMSAT News Services, ARIS, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, the FCC, NASA.gov, NOAA, Radio World, the Radio Society of Great Britain, Rockford Scanner, shortwaveradio.de, Stepper, 13 Colonies Special Event, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025, all rights reserved. For
Okay, it's W3OC. That concludes this week's Newsline transmission. Okay, I don't have any more information about anything here tonight, so we'll take some late check-ins. Anyone else like to check in after that, so call now.
W3OC. There is Kilo Bravo 3, Delta Victor Delta 8 off from Irwin. Good evening, Chuck, everybody on the net. No further comments.
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Delta 3, Bravo Alpha Alpha, Jeremiah Keysport. Good evening all, no comment.
W3OC. W3OC, please copy Whiskey 3, Sierra, Hotel Foxtrot, Stephen Pitcairn. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone on the net. W3OC. Copy November 3, Bravo, Juliet, Alpha, Dave, West Norfolk.
Hey, thank you. I got Kilo Bravo, excuse me, Kilo Bravo 3 Delta Victor Delta, Kilo Delta 3 Bravo Alpha Alpha, Whiskey 3 Sierra Hotel Fox, and November 3 Bravo Japan America. Hello there. Anybody else, please? Okay, all righty. It's nice to hear many of you folks in here. I didn't. Some of you ran into it at the fest yesterday, and if I didn't see it, well, I'm sorry about that too. It's a very, very, very nice affair. And with that, I'm going to close the net up this hour. And let's see, we had 21 check-ins, including net controls tonight. So with that, I'm going to turn the repeater back to general amateur use. Everybody have a good week. Don't forget our Wednesday night net at 8:30 p.m. on this repeater system. Okay, with that, we're going to turn the repeater back to general amateur use. It's W3OC, also known as W3ON clear.